Dr. Yemi Kale is the CEO, or what you call the Statistician General of Nigeria, simply known as SGN. Dr. Kale, good morning to you, live from Abuja studios. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start from the summary of that data on labor and productivity. These figures bother you as head of the NBS, do they?
Well, labor productivity in Nigeria is still very low relative to a lot of other countries in other emerging economies. I don't think we are particularly surprised by the slight decline in the first quarter. After all, we know that GDP in the first quarter dropped by about 2.5%. So you have, while employment increased by less than 1%. So you have more or less the same amount of people producing fewer output. So I guess that was expected.
In terms of what Nigerians earn on hourly basis, does it have to do more with currency relationship, naira-dollar parity?
Well, no, we only use, if you want to compare with other countries, then of course you have to convert it to US dollars, but that is also subject to fluctuations in the exchange rate. We don't spend dollars in Nigeria, so looking at Nigerians and what Nigerians are earning per hour, I think it's the naira, is the 624 naira that is more relevant. But of course, you want to compare yourself with other countries, so of course you have to look at what other countries are earning and put everything in one standardized format, which is usually purchasing power parity dollars.
You stated in your conclusion of this report that you released on Sunday that the country continued to be constrained by high level of unemployment and underemployment. There's a need for improved quality of education and training for the workforce for higher productivity. This looks like a definitive statement that needs to be addressed quickly.
Well, yes, from our analysis, the larger proportion of the Nigerian labor force is working in micro business in the informal sector. These are largely low-skilled jobs. When you have the situation where only about 11% of the workforce have post-secondary school degrees, that suggests that the output that will be produced will be low-skill in nature, and of course that has limitations in terms of output that can be produced.
Okay, let's talk about the underemployment rate that declined slightly to 16.6% in the period under review, first quarter that is, from 17.9% in the previous quarter. How did this happen?
Well, I think underemployment, like we said, is basically people that are working for a few number of hours in a week, or are involved in activities that do not match their skills or qualifications. And the thing with underemployment is that it's usually part-time jobs you are doing more or less to survive, jobs you are doing part-time for a few hours. They're not permanent. So eventually, a lot of these jobs will end. People are not able to sustain whatever they are doing to survive, or whatever part-time jobs they are in. And of course, once this happens, they would eventually move into unemployment. And that's why you can see that the number of those added into unemployment increased by 861,000. Now, this is more than the total number of people that new entrants into the labor market. So obviously, these are people that were previously underemployed, doing whatever they were doing, and are now come to the end of whatever they are doing, and are now completely unemployed, and now moved into unemployment. And it also includes those that probably were in full employment and lost their jobs.
Overall, the total number, headline figure of unemployed Nigeria now at 73.4 million people from 72.9 million in the last quarter of 2014. That's about 0.75%, or about 0.69%. This is significant, isn't it, considering estimated total population of 160 million?
Well, an increase in the labor force of 0.69% in a quarter is significant only in relation to the rate of underemployment and the rate of unemployment. Now, if your labor force increases by 0.6% and then your unemployment rate rises by about 18% to 7.5%, I don't think that's something that we should be happy about. I think that's extremely extremely troubling because the percentage of people that are entering unemployment and underemployment are much higher than those that are entering the labor market.
Okay, let me bring you in. You stated as well in this report that a further methodological, I'm quoting this, further methodological refinements on the approaches to determining factor productivity for the Nigerian economy are necessary. Can you explain this further for us?
Well, factor productivity is a combination of labor and capital. What we are doing so far is just tracking labor productivity. We have to find better ways of capturing capital, the use of capital. So we can get the entire picture in terms of factor productivity. Factor productivity requires all the units of labor, all the units used in production. And so far, we're only tracking labor. So what we are saying is that we're going to gradually start to find ways of also seeing the productivity of capital in the production process, and then we'll get a better picture.
What specific data, sorry to cut in, what specific data would you be looking for from the manufacturing industrial sector to help you get this out? What specific set of data?
Gross capital formation, the growth in gross capital formation, its amount of investment. When a WAPCO, for example, or Dangote Cement invests into the system, expands all forms of capital injection to expand output. That's actually what we're going to be looking at.
Okay, I guess we'll leave it at that for today. Thank you very much for your time coming through on the program, Dr. Yemi Kale, the Statistician General of Nigeria. Thank you for those insights, and we wish you all the best in the week just getting started.